Hey guys, this is Scott and Ariane with the Backpacker TV live show. Good to see everybody.
Welcome, you guys.
Yeah, my name's Scott,
Hey guys, I'm Ariane.
and today we're going to be talking about the 10 essentials on a budget. These are the 10 essential pieces of gear that when you first go out backpacking, kind of like they tell you that you should have, right? So, yeah, so let's get started.
What are the 10 essentials?
So the 10
Let's define it.
essentials really started in 1974. There was a magazine called Mountaineering that they put together what they thought were the key 10 essential pieces of gear, so in case something kind of went wrong. So if you were out there, especially mountaineering, people got hurt, they weren't able to go back to the trailhead right away, so they wanted to make sure that you had at least some mandatory pieces of gear just in case you got in trouble.
Right.
So we're going to go over that list, and then in 2003
They updated it.
yeah, the Mountaineering magazine actually updated that list because of technology and because of just the way people started using their gear.
Absolutely, they more grouped it into like thought processes and systems.
Yeah.
So what are the 10 essentials?
Okay, the 10 essentials. Your map, your compass, which is really important. Your sunglasses, sunscreen, okay, is part of that list. Your extra clothing, for sure, is part of that list. You've got your headlamp, which is hugely important, right?
Yep, light source.
First aid, and that we're going to go over that big 10 essential list. That first aid, because that can be really complicated. And then your fire starter, matches, knife, and then of course extra food. So that is your classic 10 essential. You've got that list, and then you've got an updated list, right?
Yeah. So you've got an updated list, and like I said, they really grouped it into like systems. So they combined your map and your compass as like a collective system of use, and then other things like your fire starter and your matches. Those are a collective unit as well. So what they ended up doing is being able to add in more elements. So you've got your repair kit and tools.
Right.
You've got your hydration, so extra hydration, and then finally emergency shelter, which we can't wait to get to talk to. So
Right,
let's
absolutely.
break down the 10 systems.
So like your map and your compass. Let's just take those first two, okay? If you are going out, whether you're day hiking, whether you're backpacking, or even car camping, I would suggest these are really important pieces of gear because you gotta have to know where you are.
Right.
And so you don't have to be you don't have to be an expert in reading a compass, but most of your forest roads, they're really curvy. I mean, just getting to the trailhead or finding the trailhead, you want to make sure you're going in the right direction. So having a compass that you can it's really important to know north, south, east, and west, where you are on a ridge, where you are coming down off a ridge,
Right.
where the trailhead is, and just making sure that you can have some basic knowledge of, okay, this on the map is where I am, and this is where I should be going with your compass. And you can even use the sun rises in the east, it sets in the west, right? So if the trail runs east and west, and you're hiking west, and it's late in the day, you should be hiking into sunset, right? And that's something that your compass and a map will help you do.
So I mean, maps come in all shapes and sizes. I mean, you've got your extremely detailed maps, and then this is what the inside of it looks like.
Yeah.
So, and then of course, like you said, on the cheap, which is what this show is all about, you got your compass, which we picked up at Walmart.
Right.
Super handy tool. But I will say, you should never be going in without a map, even on a day hike, because let's face it, what if you steer off your path? A map should be essential. It is essential in your gear list. Now, what happens if you get lost? So here's the catch to it is, if you don't know where you're at, how are you supposed to find where you're going? So that is really where your compass comes into play. And I think too, learning to read a topography map is like is good common knowledge for you to
Yeah, if you're going backpacking a lot, if you're going day hiking a lot, and if that's something you really love, it wouldn't hurt to take a compass and map orientation class.
Right.
You know, it's just going to help you in case something goes wrong. And the compass here that we want to show you, this is, look, it's a basic compass. You can hang it around your neck. You can buy this at Walmart for $4. Okay. Every state park usually has a free map. Actually, your National Geographic maps, they are waterproof.
Yep.
And you can buy those at any kind of local outfitters group. REI sells them all the time. You can also order them through Amazon and have it shipped to your house. But really, this is cheap, $4.
Yeah.
I mean, why not, right? And you can buy and we're, just to let you know, all of the links that we recommend, all of these products that you can buy at Walmart, we are going to actually put them on the bottom of this post so you can link right through it, and these will be all the stuff that we recommend that you get, right?
Right, on the tube.
Okay, so next one, sunglasses, sunscreen.
Yeah, so I don't prefer to hike with sunglasses. Maybe the only time I do is when I'm hiking in the desert or extremely exposed areas. I have this thing with wanting to see it naturally, and everything is so tinted. I don't like those colors to come into play. But sunglasses are very key if you're out there for long exposed times. But then you also have sunscreen, and don't underestimate it. It doesn't matter if you think you need it or not. Always bring a small version of it.
Yeah.
And because you can be out there for longer than you anticipate. It's great for chapped lips, and it's one of those essential things to protect you out there.
Yeah, comes with a clip. Again, Walmart. Just hook up to your your belt loop, or hang it off your backpack. It's very, very light. I think this was like a buck. $1.50.
Something like that.
It was really super
inexpensive.
cheap.
They come in all shapes, sizes, large, small.
Yeah, and again,
yourself.
when you do your planning and preparing, you're going to know where you're going to be backpacking. So, and the reason they add sunglasses in there too is that a lot of snow will cause blindness. I mean, it will cause your eyes to really be stressed with the reflection of the snow. So really, if you're going to be backpacking in the snow, and it's going to be really sunny out, and you're going to be up on the high ridge, definitely you're going to want to wear sunglasses for sure. And so that's one of the reasons why they put that on there.
Yeah.
This also, the 10 essentials is also for any kind of outdoor activity. So if you're doing backcountry skiing, this 10 essential list completely applies to you, because your suntan lotion and your sunglasses are probably going to be your best friend out there.
Right. And Tania, hi, welcome. You said, just a side note, you said there's a little crackly audio, so we'll look into that, but you can hear us okay, hopefully. So yeah, welcome, and thanks for the comment.
Absolutely.
We're testing things as we go. So next up, extra clothing.
Extra clothing. So this is kind of like a no-brainer a little bit. When you go backpacking around the outdoors, you never know what the weather's going to do. So in case it rains, in case you get wet yourself, the extra clothing comes along where you just want to have some dry clothing in a waterproof bag or a waterproof compression bag.
Absolutely.
So. And they recommend the new list kind of talks about an insulated clothing or insulated puffy jacket.
Right. So
they compress so small now.
Oh, ridiculously small. I should have compressed this one. But so I mean, generally when you're talking about clothing, you have like your basic 3-layering system. Here I'm wearing it today. You've got a base layer. This base layer is intended to just keep your core body temperature in. And it comes in all shapes and sizes and colors, and it comes in like very thin, and then you've got your, for winter wear, extremely thick stuff that, has reflective in it. And I mean, it's kind of like what you are preferring. But then whatever it is that you have on as your base layer, you want an insulated version of this. And this is just a down jacket. It makes or break your trip. So, whatever form that is, whether it's a fleece or it's a down jacket, you want to make sure you get your insulation in.
And then the rain jacket.
The rain jacket. You know, I mean, hands down, this, and we're going to talk a little bit about this when
Yeah.
we get further in, but the rain jacket is essential as an additional layering tool for your extra clothing. It's going to keep you dry, and it's going to be a windbreaker. So.
Yeah, absolutely. So the main thing about the extra clothing is this, is that you never want to go to bed wet, ever. And so I've seen people get hypothermia when it's 90 degrees outside.
Yep.
Okay, so having that extra dry shirt, that extra mid layer that's dry, that extra windbreaker, whether it's a rain jacket, whatever that is, that when you put it on dry clothes, even if you have to huddle under a tree or whatever that is, that's why they put that in there, because they never want you to be wet. You know, getting into dry clothes is essential, and that's why they make it part of the 10 essential list.
Yeah, and I think that, you know, I think that's one of the things that people pack for the what if, and they pack a ridiculous amount of extra clothing. I started as that, and you know, I think it can be just like an extra thin layer of shirt. It can be an extra like thin layer of pants. You don't need to add a lot of bulk, and you definitely don't need to add weight, but you also don't want to be wearing wet clothing. So extra clothing, an essential. Now that is something that you do want to steer away from on the cheap. I think in some cases you can definitely go on the cheap in your clothing, but when you're talking about your protective layering, your windbreaker and your insulation,
it's probably important.
Something a little bit that you want to spend a little extra money to make sure that you're providing yourself with.
Puffy jacket, goose down for sure. Rain jacket, you don't want to skimp on a rain jacket. You know, when it's raining or pouring outside, you're going to know the difference between a cheap piece of rain gear and a quality piece of rain gear. So you know. Hey
Floyd, welcome to the conversation. You actually asked, what is your take on Gore-Tex? Good question.
Oh, that is a good question. Okay, quickly, the Gore-Tex is this, is that it is great for a like a hard layer shell for your I like Gore-Tex. The pros to Gore-Tex is that it's definitely going to keep the rain out for sure. The con to that, or the disadvantage of that, is that Gore-Tex isn't breathable, and it's going to hold your body heat in a little bit more unless you have like some pit zips or some zips that let your body heat out. Otherwise, you're really trapping your body heat in. When I climbed Mount Washington in the winter time, I had a Gore-Tex rain jacket on. It was great for a windbreaker, but when I took that thing off, I was completely wet inside. So there's some good pros and cons about Gore-Tex. They've been around for a long time. They're a great product. You know, Gore-Tex boots, hiking boots, absolutely get it if you can get them. It's breathable, non-breathable. It's a matter of preference.
It really is, yeah. And I mean, you can get really fancy. You can get armpits. Yeah. Really handy. Yeah. We can go on and on and on and on about that, but
probably a whole different show, right?
A whole different show. We could do a whole different show if they want us to.
Probably.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, so moving
now we're
on.
At headlamp.
Headlamp. Now, again, this is a black diamond. We have several different types, but you can get a headlamp on the cheap. Very on the cheap.
Yeah, we're going to post this right under this video. So this is black diamond. Bought this at REI for $65. It's not quite 300 lumens. You can buy a 300 lumen headlamp at Walmart for I think it's like $25. Yep. So there's no difference between 300 lumens at REI and 300 lumens at Walmart.
Not
okay,
Not
so
at all.
Your LED light has really changed the industry quite a bit as far as your headlamps go. So your biggest thing is this. Your headlamp is irrelevant to the batteries that you put into it, right? So if your batteries are dead in your headlamp, it doesn't make any difference how expensive you've bought your headlamp in, right? So most of your LED batteries, you should buy lithium. Most of your LED headlamps, you should buy lithium batteries. Lithium, they're a lot more expensive, okay, but they last a lot longer. They're going to give you a lot more hours in your headlamp life. And then always, and this isn't, maybe this is part of the 10 essentials, but always carry extra batteries with you. So, and then make sure that you change out your extra batteries if you haven't used your extra batteries for a while. There's nothing more irritating than your batteries going dead in your headlamp, changing out batteries because you think they're good and they're dead also. So, and that's happened to me on the trail. So
then you're just counting on moonlight.
Yeah, right, right, or blind luck, really. But
So,
the Walmart headlamp is like $20-something. We're actually going to put a link to that,
Yep.
and so you can kind of actually take a look at it. But it's a really good headlamp, and so save your money. Get the batteries.
I think, you mentioned, I think it's important to kind of talk a little bit about the difference. I think the only thing that you're going to add by going on the cheap somewhere like Walmart versus REI is really a matter of like weight, and it's really not a significant amount of weight. So in the long run, I mean, I go for on the cheap to start, and then you can build from there. But they do come in all sorts of fancy settings. You've got your red lights, you've got your 3 different beams. I think some of them come with even like larger beams. And really it's the amount of output that you're actually receiving. So how far is that light going to shine outward, and how strong is that light going to actually give you? So some people can see, like, I mean, you and I have been out there for so long, we're so accustomed to a lot less light. So really that's what you're buying, the higher lumens that you go. So
yeah, and most all headlamps now, I mean, even the one that we're going to recommend at Walmart, it's got a red light to it, so you can flick on your red light, because a lot of your places now where you go, they actually require, or they're requesting you put on your red light, and that's kind of like it just shines red, and it keeps wildlife, especially if you're like when we go to see the synchronous fireflies in the Great Smoky Mountains. You can't. You can wear a headlamp, but it's got to be on red.
Use white light.
Can't use white light. So.
And it's also the red light comes in as a courtesy to your fellow backpackers or campers, because you're not shining a direct harsh light source in their eye. So if you can find a headlamp that with great output on the cheap that has a red.
Are we still there? Yeah.
Hey guys.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Hey, if you could comment to make sure we're still live. Are we still on live? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
good.
we are still live.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So
Just
our next
checking
piece.
in.
Yeah, I think we're good.
All right. Let us know if something's dropped off.
Yeah. So our next piece is our first aid kit.
First aid. Okay. Now, you're extremely passionate about first aid, and I think it's important to note, like, you can buy first aid anywhere. Comes in all sorts of type of kits. But the biggest thing to note, lost feed for a second, but it's back. Okay, cool. Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, technology.
Technology.
Outdoor technology.
The biggest thing to note about first aid is that when you're buying a first aid, you are buying a general idea of what you should need out there.
Yeah, they kind of put it together for you, in other words. So the thing with the first aid kits is that you've got to know who you are, right? So if you are prone to allergies more than other people, well, then your first aid kit might be a little bit different than people that don't have allergies, right? So you are allergic to bees.
Yeah, I am. It turns out I'm a little highly allergic to bee stings. And so, in my first aid kit, I do have to add bulk. So I always have an EpiPen and I have Benadryl.
Right. EpiPen. Now, in our next show, I'm actually going to stab Ariane in the leg with the EpiPen to show how this works.
What?
Yeah.
All right, so moving on. So you can have different things in your first aid kit. So know yourself and know how you are. If you're like me, I get a lot more blisters than most people. So I'm going to actually carry a lot more moleskin, a lot more duct tape. Right. A lot more things to account for that, to make sure I have enough for like a week-long trip.
Right. So you're like, we recommend this, is that buy a really good first aid small kit for the bag. Okay. And we're gonna link a really cool waterproof bag that Walmart sells with their first aid kit. It's awesome. Yeah. But then, kind of like nitpick what your first aid like. So let's say you're a fair skinned person and you get sunburned really easy. Well, then you may want burn cream a little bit extra burn cream just in case in your first aid kit. Again, allergy, Benadryl. They don't put
Yep.
Benadryls in most first aid kits, right?
Yep.
So, and the other thing too is like if you have like maybe like stomach issues or things that that you are more prone to, then you want that in your first aid kit. Okay, so we recommend making your own first aid kit. Yeah, take out the stuff that they give you, the bandages, the band-aids. If you have a preference to band-aids, put those in your first aid kit, right? So we always have made our own first aid kit. I can tell you that a couple good places to buy when you go into Walmart to buy your first aid kit, right? Then go into the medicine area. I mean, everything is so small and compact. So get your Tylenol, get your ibuprofen.
Tania, get your antihistamines.
Oh yeah, right. Oh yeah, that's another thing, right? If you have high allergies,
Absolutely.
yeah, make sure that you personalize your first aid kit, because one of the things that happens to a lot of our when we take our students backpacking is they have a general first aid kit, right? They've never unpacked it, they don't even know what's in it. But then they say, oh gee, by the way, I'm highly allergic to this, or
but they don't have it in their
they don't have it in their first aid kit. So hugely important with your first aid kit.
Yes, Tania, the quality of band-aids is often
right.
terrible.
They put some
You're right.
chintzy band-aids in
Absolutely.
there, right?
Absolutely. So yeah, like you know yourself, you know who you are, and you know what you need to stock it with. So I think the thing is grab an initial idea of what goes in a first aid kit, do your research, but then like hand tailor it to what you need.
Yep.
So yeah.
So the next one is kind of like they've got on the 10 essentials, they have fire starter and matches. Okay, so we're going to talk to those real quick both. Yeah.
On the cheap.
On the cheap.
Ridiculously inexpensive.
You can buy a ton of that stuff at Walmart. Yeah, for sure.
Right.
So you've got your Strike Force. If you're going to buy this, please practice with this before you go out and put it in as part of your backpacking system or your 10 essential list. It takes practice to get these going. The reason why they put these in as part of your 10 essentials is that things get wet. Yeah. And we're going to re-round in that in a minute to kind of talk about why you should have this and why it's good. So matches, fire starter, it's kind of an auxiliary type system in case things get wet. A lighter, just as good, right? Technology provides Bic lighters now, right? They didn't have that in the Stone Age. So put a Bic lighter in your backpack and put an extra one in there. Bic lighters, when they do get wet, they can you can get those working again. So
we didn't bring our Bic lighter. I don't know where it's at, but so I just wrap a round of duct tape around the lighter itself as an extra fuel source.
That's right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So then the other 10 essential, the number 9 is a knife. Now, yeah, I know it's and a dirty knife too. So you don't have to go as big as this one is.
No,
this is old. I've had this for a long time, but I will say this: for a long time, I took a small Swiss Army knife. Okay, and I really thought that rocked. I really thought that knife rocked until I actually had to make kindling for a fire.
Yeah.
And
you had to make an entire shelter from
I
that
did.
knife.
I did. And so I can tell you that a jagged edged small Swiss Army knife is not the way to go. Okay, they don't really tell you in the 10 essentials of what is a good knife, what should you not bring, what you should bring. So I can just tell you that if you're going to bring a small pocket knife, make sure it's a straight edged knife. You can cut almost anything with that thing, and I'm gonna put a link to what I think is one of the better knives that Walmart sells, and it's also extremely inexpensive. They have a really good knife. It's a straight edge, and because you may have to cut rope, you may have to cut like kindling for a fire. You never know. And a lot of gear if your gear malfunctions, it's always good to have like a multi-tool, but a good multi-tool and a good knife to do what you need to do out in the backcountry. And that's just another reason why they put that on the list.
Now, Tania, you made a comment. I think you're from the UK, right? And so you said be aware of knife laws, they are very strict. So again, that goes into, I mean, we've talked
Plan and
about this on
prepare.
our podcast, yeah, is plan ahead and prepare and know where you're going, know what those laws are, know what the restrictions are, absolutely. So I'm sure you have a very different take on what you bring. So thanks for that comment. Yeah,
And
it's
then
always good to be reminded.
Yeah, and then the extra, or the last part of the classic 10 essentials is extra food.
Yeah.
So what does extra food mean? Extra food, though, I mean, you can get, I mean, this is extra food, this is $1 at Walmart,
Oh,
okay,
love
in the
my
grocery
Walmart.
section, right?
Yeah.
Right. So this, you know, is this extra food, the baked potato mix? Yeah, it's $1 at Walmart, okay? So, but I would recommend this. I would recommend for extra food, make sure you bring extra food that you don't necessarily have to cook.
Right.
So if you get in trouble, and if you're going to be a day late getting out of the trailhead, or you may have to spend a night out there because you're not sure, and whether
Yeah.
it's camping, day hiking makes no difference, right? I would look for like granola mix, something that you can put water in there and you can eat. It may not be hot. If you have stove, if you have that fuel, great. You can have a great bowl of cereal. But if you don't,
Right.
it's water, granola mix, and you can eat it cold. So I would make that part of your extra food, the just in case extra food.
Right. I mean, let's face it. We are talking about 10 essentials. This is the essentials for if like something were to go wrong, or things that you need to protect yourself out there. So don't count on having boiling hot water with your
Right.
10 essentials. Throw in an extra, just like things like energy bars, whatever the case is. But again, I think it's important to talk about. This is day hiking. This is backpacking. This is cycling. Whatever sport
Yep.
you have, these are your 10 essentials that you should be carrying
Yeah.
around with you.
Absolutely. So that's the classic 10 essentials. And so quickly we're going to go
Yeah.
over some of the updated stuff and how they really kind of combined the 10 essentials.
So in 2003, they have updated the classic essential list, and like I said, they really are pairing things together. So your map and compass are a system now. They work in conjunction with each other. Your fire starter, your matches, those are in
Right.
conjunction with each other. So and so what they've allowed that to do is they've grouped your system so they can add more in. So really they're adding in a repair kit. Okay, I have one right here that we got on cheap. They added the repair kit and tools. Now, this is something that I'm a little hesitant on. It's great to have your repair kit, but if you're in an extreme downpour situation, or whatever the case may be, this little kit, yeah, it'll come in handy for you, but it's not going to fix all your problems. So
And in our experience,
Duct
most of the
tape.
time when something goes wrong with your tent, it's not a little hole.
no,
It's usually kind of a
you've got
bigger
bigger
rip.
problems.
It's usually a bigger rip, or someone has stepped on your tent, or something's torn on your tent. So, the repair kit, like look at that with a grain of salt. If you have it, they're great. Like for a thermarest,
Right.
pieces of gear that go wrong, or
Right.
your air mattress, those are great. But
Look at it kind of like your first aid kit and kind of tailor it to what you think you would need.
Yeah,
So
yep,
duct
absolutely.
tape, tenacious tape, that is great stuff. Then they've also looped in hydration, so bringing in extra hydration. Unfortunately, you can't necessarily go super lightweight on your additional hydration. You can't add water to,
Right.
hydrate this mix
Right,
to
right,
create
right.
water. So, you do always want to make sure that you have a sufficient amount of water for where you're going, or at least know where those river sources are so you can gain extra water along your way. Again, another reason why it's so important to understand the topography on your map that you do bring in. So take a course so that you can understand where and how to get to the streams and how far away those streams are.
Yeah, Tanya said duct tape, big needle, and a strong thread. Yeah, man, I'm
yes.
telling you, duct tape. I watched MythBusters one time. They made a kayak out of duct tape. So duct tape is one of my favorite pieces of gear because I use it as a multi-purpose piece of gear. It really does solve a lot of problems
It does.
if things go wrong.
And then I think probably the most important thing that they have added to the updated list is an emergency shelter.
Yep.
You know, and it's not just an emergency shelter, but it's also an emergency blanket. It's
Yeah.
also a way to keep yourself out of a situation of hypothermia. So I know you want to talk about this.
Yeah, this Mylar blanket that you can buy at Walmart for like $1, okay, is a quintessential, really important piece of gear that everybody should carry. You can literally make a shelter yourself out of sapling, trees, and you can literally make your own shelter if something has dramatically gone wrong in your day hike, okay, or your backpacking trip. But what the Mylar does, that not only does it keep you warm and you can wrap yourself if you are in a hypothermia situation, or you are very cold, you're trying to get your core temperature up, but if you're not wet and you're not cold, all right, but it's a cold night, you can make your own shelter. Putting this Mylar bag inside of a man-made structure, and you start a fire, this thing will reflect heat inside of a shelter. And we've gotten a shelter that we have made out of trees or sapling, right?
Yeah, it's just out of sapling.
And using a plastic tarp that you buy at Home Depot or Lowe's, right? We sleep on a plastic tarp when we go.
Yep.
We put this Mylar at the inside, and we got that thing to 92 degrees.
Yeah, what it's gonna do is this is designed to, you know, reflect the heat and generate heat.
Yeah.
I mean, this opens up. Now the downside is once you use it once, you're probably gonna need to go get another one because they're not going to last multiple times. But again, 10 essentials. These are an emergency type situation. So
and it's cheap. I mean, it's got a definitely multi-use.
Couple bucks.
Yeah, it's also very reflective. So I mean, you know, if you're putting this out, spreading this out on an open area where you might have to draw attention to the sky, and it's very reflective, and they are going to see that. So
it's multi-purpose.
I love the Mylar space blanket. Love this thing.
Yeah, I mean, it is. It can do wonders for you out there. So, so that is the updated. That's the updated system. That's what they've added by combining other things into systems. But we buck the system.
We bring our.
No, we do bring all of this.
We do bring all of this, but there's one huge tip I want to give you guys, that everybody always forgets to mention. Okay, so, and we learned this through a wilderness survival class that we took. So you can have all these 10 essentials, right? Especially if you're backpacking. Well, what happens if you lose your backpack?
Yeah.
You know, what do you do? And that does happen quite a bit. So, you know, you put your backpack down, you go off to use the bathroom, come back, and you've gotten turned around. You don't know where your backpack is. You can't find the trail again, or it's really foggy outside. You've laid your backpack down. Now you can't find your backpack. Your backpack has fallen into the river. It's floated away. Your backpack has fallen down a cliff. All these things have happened, okay? So, and the biggest thing recently that happened to a friend of mine is they were backpacking, hung their food, did everything right. A bear came into their camp, and guess what? It grabbed its backpack and it ran.
And
so they've lost their backpack. So, so one of the things I want to really hit home to everybody is that some of these 10 essentials you may not want to put in your backpack. So I always carry a really small, I'm going to show this to you guys. I carry a very, very small bag, you know, that I always carry on me. I put it in my pocket, or I hang it off my belt loop, but I do not put this in my backpack. And the space blanket is one of them. Yep. Okay, so I have my shelter in case I lose my backpack. Okay, I also always carry my fire starter equipment, always, in a bag. My fire starter equipment contains shavings that I cut. I have my little matches, my Bic lighter, and my fire starter matches in here. I've got my first aid kit, because what if you lose your backpack? What if your backpack is gone and now you've gotten hurt? You've gotten a blister. I'm allergic, so I've got my Benadryl in there. I've got my burn stop in here. So I'm not saying that it has to be your whole first aid kit. I'm just saying throw some things that are pertinent to your welfare and don't put it in your pack, and just carry it on the side with you. It is so worth it.
Yeah.
In case something goes wrong.
And our fire starter is in there. I think you mentioned.
Yeah, I've got my fire starter that I use just in case my matches go bad, and then I also bring the best fire starter in the world. The best.
Are you ready?
The best is a cotton ball soaked in Vaseline.
Or
the best.
A piece of rubber.
Yeah, rubber works like an inner tube
you can't
tire.
necessarily find out there, but
Or duct tape. I mean,
yeah,
if you have your
duct
duct tape is made of oil. And then I've got these shavings that I always have with me, just in case I need a fire. This right now with the Mylar bag and this bag right here, that would be all I would need if something went wrong on my backpacking trip and I lost everything. I lost my backpack. I don't have anything. And so a lot of, is it extra weight? Yeah,
Perhaps.
It is extra weight, but depending on where you're going to go and the terrain you're going to be backpacking in, again, plan and prepare your trip always, and your 10 essentials can come and go, okay? You can modify your 10 essentials. It's always good to have your basic 10 essentials for sure. Like how much clothing you pack, how much food you pack, right. That's all relevant to your trip, right? But in case you lose your backpack, if you're new to backpacking, and it happens all the time, okay? If you lose your backpack, your 10 essentials are irrelevant. Okay?
They aren't helping you at all.
So just make a little tiny bag of an extra, everything that you would need, and the Mylar blanket is one of them. The extra shelter is one of them, and you'll be so much more prepared than the person that doesn't do it, because it does happen out there. Believe me, it does happen.
Right.
For sure.
Yeah. So.
Do we have any questions on anything that we talked about? And the whistle. Oh yeah.
Huge thing.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting. I mean, we've talked a lot about your backpack now. This is just a day pack, but I do have my backpack right here for backpacking, and most updated backpacks now come with the sternum strap. They actually have an attached whistle on them. Now, this whistle is going to do just fine out there, but we personally like to keep on our body a stronger whistle. So again, if you got your backpack on you, this is your sternum strap. It's very easy to connect to the whistle that's already pre-existing. So a lot of people don't even realize that that's built in. But again, we do carry an additional whistle, and a whistle ultimately is going to help you identify that you're in need. So,
and again, they sell these at Walmart.
Yeah,
the good ones.
Super cheap.
You've got, and even if you're looking for the space blanket too, and like a little survival kit that also provides a waterproof case. This right here, buy at Walmart. And how much did we pay for this thing? It was like nothing, right? It was hardly anything.
Couple
dollars, for almost everything you need. So, and I will post all of the things that we recommend that you can buy on a budget that have all of your 10 essentials on the comments section underneath this video. So
I think it's important. So like you got your 10 essentials, but this is how you get them on the cheap. So this is kind of what today's show is about.
Yeah.
To kind of leap you into the knowledge of it, kind of some missing links that we think are necessary in the 10 essentials, and then how to find them on the cheap. So your local Walmart has just about everything you need.
Yeah, it really does.
Yeah.
And depending on what Walmart you live by, usually Walmarts change in like the geographic location. So we actually went to our local Walmart in the middle of our city. And we were able to still find almost 90% of the 10 essentials in there. Your Walmarts that are going to be closer to, the mountains or more of in a recreation area, I can guarantee you they're going to have all of your 10 essentials in there. So don't get sucked into having to go out and spending a lot of money on the 10 essentials if that's something that it's usually the first thing backpackers buy, new backpackers, because they Google it and they see the 10 essentials and they go, I need to order I need to get all those things. But just remember, like do your research. Walmart has everything you need and I'm not saying that Walmart isn't quality, because some of the stuff that they do sell is quality stuff, and so it will work and it will be great for you. And the Mylar blanket is just one of them. I think it was like $1.50 that you used to be able to buy at Walmart for on its own. So, and now it comes in a kit. So yeah, I mean, everything you have is right there for you. Yeah. And you can order online. For sure.
Yeah, so we hope that you took a little something away from today's show. Whether you didn't know anything about the 10 essentials, or you are learning to, kind of make the 10 essentials a little bit more compatible for you and your way.
Or if you've just spent a lot of money on your 10 essentials and now you think, well, I didn't even go look at Walmart. Now you can take those back, go to your local Walmart and be like, oh, they're all right there for you. So, please go to our website, the www.thebackpacker.tv, and subscribe to our email list. We shoot you all these videos, and we just shot a whole bunch of new videos this weekend that we want to share with you. So subscribe to our email address. And check out our podcast. We just posted that this morning. That's also on the backpacker.tv. And yeah, we will see you same time
next week.
We don't really know where we're ever going to be, but we will be here live on Facebook at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we will see you next Thursday.
All right.
Hey, thanks for watching, guys. Bye.
Appreciate it. Bye.